How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing well today. It is currently Monday, it's kind of overcast, and I was in the mood for making a video. So today, we're going to be covering one of the most requested topics for me to revisit, and that is, do I regret switching over from Android to iPhone? Now, I thought it was appropriate to make this video at the moment, as I am planning to cover some Android phones on this channel very soon, and we're almost approaching the 2-year mark of me switching over to iPhone, so I wanted to make this video. Oh, it is super cold out here today. Hold on. I think you can even see that, like, on this. Anyway, so first of all, I want to talk about my history with Android phones, because as some of you who have been around on this channel for a while may know, I used to be an avid Android user. Now, I understand that some of you may have heard this story before, especially those of you who've been around for a long time. There have been a lot of new people who have joined this channel recently, so first of all, welcome. Can you maybe not? I'm trying to record a video. Thanks, birds. And yeah, I used to be an avid Android user. I didn't actually own an iPhone till like 2017, and even then, it was my brother's old iPhone 5 that I was borrowing because I broke my other phone. Then after I'd used that, went straight back to Android, didn't look back until like 2019. So it was actually going pretty well. If you want to see what I was using before, feel free to check out that video up there. Basically, I go into detail about all the phones I've used up until this point. Well, this point, I should say that point. There have been a few more since then. But yeah, most of the phones I've owned over the course of my life have been Android phones. So what made me change my mind? Well, towards the end of 2018, I bought myself a Samsung Galaxy S8. Now, this thing was a pretty high-end phone at the time. It was still pretty new, and this is the first high-end Android phone I think I've ever bought myself. And to be honest, for the first 6 or so months, it worked phenomenally well. It was so fast, the screen looked gorgeous, and it was just a really good phone. However, there were a few things that slightly annoyed me a little bit. We're gonna get into those. First of all, there was only one camera, and it wasn't actually particularly good quality at that. I mean, it had the specs. I think it recorded like 4K video and had a super high resolution count, but realistically, it did just look a little bit blocky and artifacting. Skin tones didn't look particularly good. The color science wasn't great, and yeah, I didn't particularly enjoy that experience. Next up, it was covered in glass and wasn't all that durable. See, I've had glass phones since. In fact, this phone right here, that has a glass back, but for some reason, the Samsung's glass was super fragile. I think I dropped it like 3 times and then it was broken. Yeah, not good. And of course, while that's on me, I dropped my iPhone 10 like 100 times. A lot of the times, not in a case, and it still held up pretty well. And of course, the final nail in the coffin of the Samsung S8 was the fact that it just got really slow. So yeah, after a while of dealing with this, I had 2 options. Number 1, buy a more expensive Android phone, and considering I had paid a lot of money for the Samsung S8 when I bought that, I wasn't too keen on that, especially as the Samsung was supposed to be one of the best phones on the market as it was. And of course, my other option was simply to buy a cheap used iPhone, try out the operating system, see how it worked, and then see where to go from there. And of course, after much research, I finally decided maybe I should give the iPhone a go. So yeah, after that, I picked up a used iPhone 7 on eBay, and the rest is history. I'm gonna go find somewhere a bit warmer to do the next section, because it is very cold out here, and of course, birds are loud. Alright, so it's actually now 4 o'clock. It's kind of a little bit warmer now, so I decided to go for a walk, and I thought I'd do this section now. So first of all, we're going to be talking about my experience on the iPhone side of things, and don't get me wrong, it's been mostly positive. Some things that I've personally really loved is having a secondary interaction, the software stability, and the interaction with my other Apple products. Now, if you watch the channel, then you may know that I am primarily a Mac user, and I do like to use an iPad on the side, so the fact that my phone works so well with these 2 devices is awesome, and I didn't really believe in the ecosystem. Soon as I got an iPhone, that changed. Now, take this as you will. This might actually be a negative, because, not gonna lie, I do now feel a little bit locked into the Apple ecosystem. Like, don't get me wrong, I would be able to go back to an Android phone, but I know I would miss it if I were to go back to an Android phone. Secondly, we have the software stability. Now, as I said before, software instability was one of the main reasons why I switched from my Samsung phone, and I've got to say, that has been pretty excellent. However, in my time using iPhones, I have found that this is only really the case with iPhones that are in the support cycle. Like a couple of weeks ago, I tried using an iPhone 4S for a week. That was really annoying, and one of the benefits of having an Android phone is that if your phone does eventually go out of date, you can most likely track down old software and then just download and use that. One of the other things that I have really enjoyed while using an iPhone has been the camera. Now, first of all, I know it's a cliche and not necessarily a true one anymore. A lot of Android phones actually have better cameras nowadays. Now, I'm not talking about the gimmicky crap like that 100 times zoom or whatever it was that looked terrible. I'm talking mostly about the Google Pixel line, which in my experience has been probably the most consistent Android phone. There's a puddle here, but a really nice view that I want to use, so let's try to hop this. So yeah, if I were to sum up the last 2 years of using iPhones, it would be convenient, reliable, and consistent, which is the one thing that I couldn't really get out of my Android phones. Also, little things like it being very easy to buy a phone case, as well as like a plethora of other accessories. I still haven't tried out those Moment phone camera lenses yet. They look awesome. So yeah, well, it can occasionally take a little while longer for features like fast charging to come to these phones. I do often find that they're more consistent and work slightly better out the bag than their Android counterparts. Now, this doesn't mean that all of the Android counterparts are inferior to the Apple products, but I would be more confident relying on a launch day iPhone to something like a launch day Samsung product. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not all positives, but I am freezing. It is so cold. There is snow pretty much everywhere but this road, but it's cold. I've had some fresh air, and I think we're going to do the rest of this back home. I have a parcel. Okay, so we're back. And we got a parcel. Gonna open this, then we'll get back on topic. Caution, package damaged. If the tape is broken or if the package is damaged, check in. It's a hard drive. That's gonna be useful for storing stuff. Anyway, back on topic. I'm gonna fix this background actually. Okay, so that's better. All right, so now we're gonna be talking about some of the things that I actually kind of miss from the Android side of things, because don't get me wrong, I don't think iOS is perfect. In fact, I actually like Android better in a lot of ways. Number one, we have the customization. Now, I know this has certainly improved with iOS 14 with like a few little tricks where you can change the icons and get widgets, but realistically, it really has got nothing on Android. I remember I used to spend like hours just looking through and trying out all the different launchers. You could get really creative with that, and that's certainly something that I miss on the iOS side of things. Other things that I miss, as I said before, with iOS, you're kind of not really on the bleeding edge. And again, when these features are implemented, I think they do tend to be a little bit more stable. Realistically, if you look at the features Android had like 3 years ago, I mean, some of them have features that iPhones still don't have to this day. There is also a lot more variety on the Android side of things. If you want like a super cheap Android phone, then you can get a super cheap Android phone. Or if you want one that has 5 cameras and shoots raw photos, you can take a look at that Nokia 9 PureView. My friend loves that phone. In general, there is a lot more variety on the Android side of things, so if you want some specific features, then I personally think it is definitely better to look over to the Android side of things. I kind of think that the iPhone is a little bit more of a general phone. I'm cracking out that lovely phrase, the iPhone is the jack of all trades and the master of some. Namely, again, with software stability and compatibility with other Apple products. Going back to apps, I know I said before that I think apps are more stable on the iOS side of things. I have found there to be significantly more specialist apps on the Android side of things. One example that immediately springs to mind is Fubar 2000, which is like a super high-end music listening software. That has an Android app, and to my knowledge at least, that doesn't have an iOS app. And all these things is why I will never say that one is better than the other. I am a firm believer that there is the perfect phone for everyone out there, and whether or not you go with an iPhone or an Android completely depends on what you want to do with your phone. Me personally, do I regret switching to iPhone almost 2 years ago? No, I've had a pretty great time. However, do I think iPhones are for everyone? Absolutely not. Also, am I very curious about a lot of the Android phones that are released? Absolutely. I like technology. I personally prefer not to take sides in this other than against the Samsung S8 because I genuinely think there's so much good tech on both sides that I'd rather not write one brand off. Alright guys, so that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Let me know, by the way, which do you prefer, iPhone or Android? Always like reading your comments. As for now, as always, thank you for watching. Remember to like the video. If you want to see more content like this, then smash that subscribe button. I'm done for now, and I will see you guys in the next one.